Hey, 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 happy Wednesday. How is everyone? Are we all having a good afternoon, a good day? Are you on half term? Are you looking after the kids and juggling everything? How's it going? What's going on with my hair? I'm just going to check I'm live. Gonna just do a little check. That's one. I'm live there. Let's have a look. I'm using new software, so I like knowing if I'm there, if it's working. Oh yeah, it is working. I hope you're all okay, as I said. So what do I want to tell you about? I want to tell you about what to do when you aren't seeing results quick enough. And this is inspired by a conversation I had with a client earlier today. So one of the biggest reasons that people quit on their, I'm going to use my little bunny ears, diets, is not seeing results quick enough. So they're good for a couple of weeks, sometimes not even that long, maybe a couple of days. And they can't understand why they aren't seeing the results that they want to on the scale. And I had a client message me this morning, and her weight on the scales had gone ever so slightly up, even though for the 2 weeks previously it had gone down. And the reasons for this being a great example for me to talk to you about today are a couple. So I wouldn't ever advocate anyone just using the scales. And even when you are using the scales, there's a whole host of reasons why the scale could go up, and I'll address that on another live. But historically with this client, it's driven her to hit the big red button of doom. Tell herself that nothing works for her and she obviously won't reach her goals, and she'll just end up reaching for the chocolate or the snacks, or that big red button, whatever that might trigger her into. And it's at this point that I step in to remind her that she needs to trust the process. And I could throw a couple of cliches out there and say Rome wasn't built in a day. Oh, whoops, I did it. But changing your lifestyle, changing your health, your weight, your fitness, and ultimately your life takes time. It takes consistency. It takes patience. And patience is often something we're really short of, especially when it comes to our health, our fitness, our weight. Because we've been led to believe by all the marketing BS from diet culture bods that we can get results really quickly, super fast, in weeks, no effort at all, just follow this plan. Now, that's absolute rubbish unless you're going to starve yourself or take something illegal. Okay, now I shared on my profile on Monday a big shout out to one of my clients, Stacey, who has just finished working with me, and she worked with me for 16 months. Okay, and in that time she lost 3 stone, that's 42 pounds. And she didn't want to lose it quickly. She was really happy with the pace of her journey. That was one of her goals. Could she have done it quicker? Yes, probably. But for her, it was really important to build and maintain a accumulation and a kind of list of small habits that she could execute consistently and over a long time and continue to do after working with me. And she was able to do that. And those consistent habits led firstly to that massive weight loss, and secondly to even more changes and transformations within so many other areas of her life that I will be sharing with you all in the coming weeks. So yes, whilst there's kind of this suggested amount of weight loss that we should lose per week, it's not to say that you have to do it at that rate. And that was something in Stacey's goals she was really clear about, that she didn't want to do it like that. So my advice here is to trust the process. But there are a few things that you need to have in place first in order to know that the process is the right one to be trusting. So here I've got 4 tips for you to help you. First one, have a sustainable and simple plan or strategy. Don't go too crazy. Don't try to change too many things at once. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I don't go in for anything restrictive or crazy with silly rules. I believe in eating real food and making sure that you are not depriving yourself. So a sustainable plan that you can stick to, that is simple. So don't just go creating crazy rules for yourself and cutting everything out. That is not going to get you to where you want to be. So that's tip number 1. The second one is commit to and track your habits. So the consistent execution of your small daily habits will lead to big changes and progress. Okay, so this could be going out for a daily walk, could be one of your habits. It could be making sure that you get at least 5 portions of fruit and veg in every day. It could be making sure that you are in some way, shape or form tracking your food, whether that's portion sizes, whether it's using a plate, whether it's tracking calories. So those consistent actions and habits build up to create big changes, and they don't have to be, we're not talking about, right, I must go from 0 to 100 and train in the gym every day when I've not been a member of a gym for 10 years. We're not talking about going from eating in a certain way, so toast and jam for breakfast and then grabbing a sandwich out for lunch, to all of a sudden becoming this Tupperware queen where the fridge is just full of labels of Tupperware prepped food. Small consistent changes are super, super important. Track and measure more than one measure of success to create a full picture. So my client example from this morning, that client is really quite emotionally driven by the scales, but knows, as do all my other clients, that we have to measure all of our progress in more than one way, so not just by the SAD step. So it has to be that we track pictures, measurements, certain items of clothing and how they feel when you put them on, your energy levels, how you feel on a daily basis, happy, sad, emotional, excited. It's really important that we look at the whole picture and not just the small piece of the puzzle that is the weight on the scales and the SAD step. And as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, that could be that is because the measurement on the scales can be affected by so many different things on a daily basis. And then the final tip is give it time and be patient, which is where I started with at the beginning of this. Trust the process, assuming that you are following a sensible and sustainable and simple process. If you're not seeing after 3-4 weeks the progress you want to see, then it's time to tweak it. But don't let a couple of weeks or 1 week of one measure of success going in a way you're not happy with completely throw you off track and have you just chucking everything in the bin, because that's not going to help you, and it's not going to mean that you end up progressing, because you'll just get frustrated. So patience, but there are steps that you need to take before that, and that's about creating a strategy for success. Okay, good. So I hope that was helpful. I hope you have a good afternoon and evening, and I will see you very soon. Mwah.